This technical diagram shows how architects take a 50-meter bridge and shrink it to fit on a 10-centimeter page using a 1 to 500 scale. Proportional division applies this same logic to resources like land or money. It is the method of splitting a specific quantity into two or more parts using a defined ratio. To divide 1,200 pounds between two people in a 2-to-1 ratio, we can organize the data into three columns: the first person's ratio, the second person's ratio, and the sum of those parts, which is 3. Placing the real-world total of 1,200 under the ratio total allows us to find the shares. By cross-multiplying the targeted column with the total column, we find the first person receives 800 pounds and the second receives 400. The table method organizes multiple variables into a predictable format. Once you place your known values, the calculation follows a standardized path. If a total isn't provided, the problem may state that one share exceeds another. For land divided in a 3-to-5 ratio, where the elder sibling's share is 20 square meters larger, we must adjust our table. The word exceeds indicates we are working with a difference. We subtract the ratio parts, 5 minus 3, to get a ratio difference of 2, and then place the actual 20 square meter difference directly beneath it. Cross-multiplication remains the tool for solving the individual shares. Using the difference column as our reference, we find the calculated results of 30 and 50 square meters. Identifying terms like exceeds or difference changes the mathematical operation required in the third column of the table. In a three-party investment with a 3 to 4 to 5 ratio, you might only have data for one person, such as the first investor's profit of 15,000 pounds. We must recognize that this 15,000 pounds represents a single investor's earnings rather than a collective sum or a difference between partners. By placing the 15,000 specifically under the first investor's ratio of 3, that column becomes our anchor for the rest of the problem. Cross-multiplying from this point reveals the other shares are 20,000 and 25,000 pounds. Correctly linking a value to its specific ratio part determines the starting point for every other calculation in the set. Complex estate problems often combine multiple steps. If a man leaves 600,000 pounds, where his wife takes a fixed 1/8 share, and the rest goes to one daughter and 2 sons, we cannot start with the ratio. It is a common error to apply the ratio for the children to the total amount of the estate before handling fixed legal shares. We must first calculate the wife's share. 1/8 of 600,000 is 75,000 pounds. Subtracting this from the total gives us a remaining balance of 525,000 pounds. Next, we set up the ratio for the children. Since a daughter receives half of a son's share, the ratio for one daughter and 2 sons is 1 to 2 to 2, creating a ratio total of 5. We use our 525,000 pound remainder as the new real-world total. Cross-multiplying solves the final shares: 105,000 pounds for the daughter and 210,000 for each son. These examples represent the primary ways data is presented: as a collective sum, a difference between parts, an individual share, or a remaining balance after fixed expenses. Mastering proportional division is a matter of translating word problems into these distinct table formats, ensuring the math reflects the specific constraints of the situation.